What's up, all my Ewoks, Tribbles, Droids, and Wookiees? It's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and today I'm going to be reading this article that from CBR. This is actually the archived one that Yellow Flash sent me. Yellow Flash 2. If you don't know his channel, go check it out. It's awesome. But so, guys, we got to get into this because there is a lot for me to cover, and holy fucking shit is it bad. So, for those of you that don't know, if you didn't watch Star Wars before, if you didn't know the story about Anakin Skywalker, apparently him turning the dark side had nothing to do with actually what happened. It's all because, guess what? Guess what, everyone? Toxic masculinity. That's what it is. It had nothing to do with, an evil genius that slowly over a decade plotted and carefully set the dominoes in effect and, built up this relationship with Anakin so that way he could set everything in place and then tip the dominoes so that way everything fell in his favor and he got everything that he wanted, like an evil genius does sometimes. It had nothing to do with that. It had nothing to do with, the manipulation of, the evil genius. It was toxic masculinity. So this is written by Margaret Lockyer, and so Star Wars toxic masculinity is the real reason Anakin Skywalker failed. No, it's not. Star Wars Anakin Skywalker falls to the dark side as a result of toxic masculinity in which he is raised and trained. Prepare to lose brain cells, everyone. Darth Vader of the Star Wars saga is one of the most famous and recognizable villains in cinema history. True. When he was first introduced in 1977 in Star Wars A New Hope, little was known about this deeply tragic backstory, but years later, the prequels detailed young Anakin Skywalker's tragic fall from the Jedi Chosen One to the Sith Lord Darth Vader. While he was manipulated by the Emperor, the real reason Anakin fell to the dark side was the environment of toxic masculinity in which he was raised and trained by the Jedi. Oh my god. Guys, apparently there's no women, there's no females in, the Jedi. There's no females in the Jedi Council. There was no females involved in Star Wars. No female Jedi involved in Star Wars. It was all toxic masculinity. Let's see this argument, if you can call it that. Toxic masculinity does not mean that all masculinity is toxic. It refers to the exception that men prioritize stoicism, violence, and other stereotypes. Well, guess what? So do women. So do women. Have you ever heard of, the phrase that people sometimes describe as, describe women as cold-hearted bitch? What does that entail? Stoicism. Remember, cold-hearted, they don't feel anything. Violence, again, cold-hearted bitch. That's a stereotype of women, but you're using that for toxic masculinity. Holy fucking shit. And since when is stoicism a bad thing? When is being stoic a bad thing? When is being in control of your emotions and, not letting them overtake you? When is that a bad thing? I don't know, but apparently that's toxic now. All right. Masculinity. These stereotypes are detrimental to men and women. Being stoic is detrimental. What universe are you living in? As well as society as a whole. The Jedi Order raised Anakin in an environment saturated with toxic masculinity ideals. An outcome that was tragic, turn from the light side to the dark. Are you fucking kidding me? So because Anakin was taught to protect others, to, put yourself in front and, sacrifice yourself for the good of the galaxy and give up all of these things, all of these benefits that everyone else in the galaxy shares because you are going to be a servant of peace and justice. That means you are a bad person because you are, just endowed with toxic masculinity. Even though there's women on the Jedi Council and in the Jedi Order. Do you not see how fucking sane this sounds? But again, let's continue because guess what? It does get worse. the Jedi do not intentionally encourage toxic masculinity. However, they foster it within Anakin because they teach him to fear all of his emotions. When the fuck does that happen? Oh yeah, that's right, it doesn't. You are allowed to feel emotions, but guess what? The Jedi try to teach you is how to control your emotions, so that way you don't act brashly, you don't make dumb decisions in the heat of the moment. Guess what? Anakin makes a dumb decision in the heat of the moment, he gets his fucking arm cut off. It's a bad thing to do that. Even Yoda, when he was training Luke, you must learn patience. That's something that everyone is kind of taught as they grow up in life. It's like, hey, you know, when you're a baby and, you know, you throw a temper tantrum because, you know, that's what happens when you're a little kid. You don't understand, especially babies, when they can't verbalize things, they get frustrated and they cry. Once they get a little bit older, they stop doing that because they can talk. They can tell mommy and daddy what they want. It's controlling your emotions so you don't act like a deranged child or fucking animal. How on earth is that toxic? Because when on earth have they ever taught him to fear his emotions? If anything, they say you need to feel this so that way you can overcome it and better yourself as a human or a fucking alien, as a Jedi Knight. When on earth do they ever teach him to fear all emotions? Oh yeah, that's right, they fucking don't. This is such bullshit. He fears that if they catch him expressing any emotion, he will be punished. Let me tell you right fucking now, Anakin is not afraid to express his emotions. Remember, he's up to Jedi Council and he says, this is outrageous, this is unfair, and the Jedi fucking call him out on it, and they're like, Anakin, control yourself. Act like an adult. If you want to sit at the grown-ups table in the grown-up circle, then fucking act like one. Anakin has never been afraid to express himself and share his emotions. And, you know, that's one of the reasons why they still see him as this young kid, is because he's not acting like an adult. He's acting brash, and they keep trying to tell him, you need to, same thing with Luke, you need to learn patience. You need to control your emotions like an adult. When was Anakin afraid of showing emotions? Again, never. Anakin does not have this problem. This problem does not exist. Did you watch the fucking movies? I don't think so. Were you on your phone for a majority of the movies? Probably. That is not a healthy way to learn emotional intelligence. Based on this article, I don't think you're entitled to lecture someone on emotional intelligence. Like, come on. It actually creates feelings of isolation and desperation and amplifies aggressive and anger-driven responses. Are you a psychologist or a therapist? Do you know this for a fact? I don't think so. I think, you know, it actually says at the end of this article, you just have like a degree in English with apocalyptic literature. Like, I don't think you're the best person for the job to say this is what's going to happen and this is how you're going to, you know, emotionally respond to something. But whatever. It's a deranged article as it is. It actually creates a feeling of isolation. This lack of emotional intelligence is both a cause and result of toxic masculinity. Are you fucking kidding me? Which is the path that transformed an earnest, open Anakin Skywalker into an angry, hateful Darth Vader. No, it's not. Anakin became Darth Vader because Palpatine set everything up from the beginning. The second Palpatine meets Anakin, he's in his corner. He's been his cheerleader throughout all of this. And, you know, when a kid has their parents and their parents tell them no, or, you know, reprimand them because they're trying to teach them life lessons, what does a kid usually do? Oh yeah, cool, you know, cool aunt or uncle, you know, they'll get me the toy that mommy and daddy won't. Grandma or grandpa will get me the thing that they don't. That's what Palpatine was to Anakin. Even, you know, when he really inserts himself into things, he's like, you know, I see, you know, you are destined for great things, you know, even if the Jedi don't see it or if they don't take you as seriously. I'm going to be your number one cheerleader, Anakin. I'm going to, you know, when Obi-Wan tells you something you don't want to hear, I'm going to be right there to be your rock, to be your number one cheerleader. And Anakin, after over a decade of knowing that Palpatine is that guy that will always he'll always go to for encouragement and, you know, when he needs to hear something positive, Palpatine created that, you know, image of him in Anakin's mind. Wow, it's almost like he was manipulated by this fucking psychotic mastermind. Huh, is that, a toxic masculine trait? No, it's not, because guess what? Women do that all the fucking time. But whatever, this person didn't watch the damn movies. If the Jedi had allowed Anakin to express his emotions from his young age and utilize healthy coping mechanisms, what are these I want to know what this person's healthy coping mechanisms are, because guess what? Anakin is allowed to express his emotions. Remember the scene in Revenge of the Sith when Anakin is going and talking to Master Yoda and telling him about his dreams and how he can see the future? And Yoda is telling him, you must learn to let go of everything you're afraid to lose, helping him come to terms with this thing that he's emotionally conflicted with. Remember when there was that scene in the movie? Oh yeah, that's probably right. You probably don't, because you probably didn't fucking watch it based on this article. He would have been prepared for what when he was overcome with love and lust for Padme. Okay. He was a 19-year-old male in Attack of the Clones. Guess what's happening when a boy and a girl are in their teenage years? Oh yeah, that's right, especially humans, because remember, we're in a universe with aliens. They have raging hormones. This is, Natalie Portman, who's, absolutely gorgeous. He's been in love with her since the first moment he saw her, and he's in this, romantic setting with her. It's pretty natural. And guess what? Oh, remember earlier when she said something about, stoic being, a bad trait? Who was the one that was more stoic in all of that situation? Oh yeah, that's right. It's fucking Padme. If you talk about who's going to be the more emotional one in that relationship, it's fucking Anakin. Anakin is the emotional one out of him and Padme. Padme is the rock that Anakin leans on. And what happens in Attack of the Clones? Oh yeah, Obi-Wan talks about, oh yeah, I'm worried that Anakin's going to give into his emotions. But guess what? I'm going to trust him on this mission. Sorry, I got something in my eye. I'm going to trust him. I'm going to trust that he's mature enough. Because that's what happens in the natural lifespan of things. Parents, you gotta get, the baby birds out of the coop. They gotta fly sometime. You gotta give them this mission so that way they can earn your trust. That way they can prove themselves. And guess what? With the second Padme told him to stop, he stopped. The only reason they went forward with their relationship was because Padme thought that they were gonna die, and she finally gave in to hers. And she let down her guard, and she said, yeah, I love you. And then they pursued their romantic relationship. Did you not watch the fucking movie? It's not that hard to understand. Therefore, instead of being rash and secretive, he might have approached the situation with a level head. Honestly, for how much raging hormones he had, he was pretty level-headed about it, to be completely honest. The only time he really lost his cool was when the stuff happened on Tatooine with his mom. Like, the rest, when did Anakin ever lose his cool before that? He didn't. If you watch the movie, you would know that. Similarly, the Jedi should have taught him how to deal with his separation anxiety he had from being taken from his mother. Well, guess what? There's a decade in between The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. I'm pretty sure they dealt with that right off the fucking bat. But just because it wasn't in the movies doesn't mean it didn't happen. Again, there was 10 years. I'm pretty sure by the time we see an Attack of the Clones, he's come to terms with the fact that he hasn't seen his mother in a decade. He knew he was leaving his mother. Qui-Gon even said, this is going to be difficult. You're going to have to leave. Anakin goes, says bye to his mom. Even she says, Anakin, this is the path you have to take. If this is really your dream, if this is your calling in life, you're going to have to do that. If you watch the movie, which I really feel you didn't, oh my gosh, there's something in my eye. I'm sorry. The visions he had of her death and suffering will still be painful, but he would be able to cope with them. Don't even. No one is ever prepared for death. Even, are you going to say that Obi-Wan is toxic because he cried and he expressed emotion when him and Anakin fought on Mustafar and he cut off Anakin's, legs and the last arm he had, and he watched as he burned and he was crying because he lost his brother? Remember that? Remember he's standing there and he's looking down at Anakin and he's like, "You were my brother, Anakin. I loved you." Are you going to use toxic masculinity on in that scenario? Because based on these, barriers that you just created, that's what you're, I mean, if you're going to apply this set of rules to this situation, you got to apply it to every single one that you created this scenario. It doesn't make any fucking sense, does it? These people don't think things through, but again, I don't think that she watched the movies. I mean, it's painfully clear. Either this person that wrote this had to do it. Their boss said, "Oh, we need to have something, to piss off men," right? About how Anakin was, turned to the dark side by toxic masculinity. And they went and they read the Spark Notes of fucking Star Wars somewhere out there. Or they read the IMDb synopsis. But it's like, you're allowed to express emotions. You're allowed to talk about it. Remember the scene when he's talking with Yoda. Like, you are allowed to express emotions. Where did this whole thing come from? If you want to grow as a human being, if you want to grow as a Jedi, you have to have a better understanding not only of the universe around you, but of yourself. It doesn't make any sense. And again, aliens are much different than humans. Each species is different, but having humans be such a big part of the Jedi Order, because there's so many of them in it, they would have to learn these type of things. And I mean, it's the same thing when, you actually do go join a monastery. You have to learn to come to terms with your emotions and help it balance you, because, I mean, the Jedi is the equivalent of, a religious faction in Star Wars. So I don't know where I mean, you're pulling these ideas out of your ass and it doesn't make sense, but oh my God, there's still more. Also, he would have been able to seek genuine help after her death instead of isolating himself. He did seek help. He did. Remember? Obi-Wan talks to him about it. And again, with Padme, like, come on. He talks with Padme about it. Padme is a diplomatic senator. Like, come on. He has his rock, his people that he talks to. You're telling me that he didn't discuss it with Obi-Wan, that he didn't discuss it with Yoda? Again, just because we didn't see it on camera doesn't mean it didn't happen. It's like, you're going to tell me that all throughout Star Wars, nobody used the bathroom? Again, just because we didn't see it doesn't mean it didn't happen. We know that shit happens, pun intended. We just don't need to see every single scrap of it, because guess what? A majority of people have these things in between their ears called brains, and we can make the logical conclusions on that. And death is something that takes a long time to get over, especially the death of your mother, that in Anakin's situation, he saw visions of, and he wasn't able to get there in time. Guilt is a huge fucking mountain for somebody to get over in climbing. And, some people they're never able to get over with the guilt that they feel for whatever it is that happened in the instance of their life. But I don't expect this person to know much about that. Oh my gosh, there's more. I'm sorry, everyone. This is going to be a long video today. I apologize. After failing to stop the death of his mother or even have the ability to mourn healthily, Anakin was traumatized and feared the cycle of loss would repeat itself. Therefore, when there was a threat to Padme's well-being, he turned to the Emperor and the dark side of the Force for help. Okay. He turned to Chancellor Palpatine, his friend, the person, again, that had been his #1 cheerleader for over a decade, since the moment that he met him. Palpatine was that guy that's like, "I believe in you, Anakin, you're the best, you're, like, come on." He was able to mourn after his mother. Show me the instance when he wasn't able to mourn healthily. One of the things that the Jedi do is you need to talk about it so that way you can overcome this thing. I've gone over this already. It's just, at this point, I'm just, regurgitating things that I've already explained. But, I don't know. These people just don't learn. And again, he was manipulated by his friend, or the person that he thought was his friend. Honestly, the person that was more of a father figure to him than Obi-Wan was. Obi-Wan was like his brother, whereas Palpatine was like that, you know, the father figure that he looked up to. He was drawn to the dark side for its potential to control life and death. He was drawn to what Palpatine was spewing to him. This has nothing to do with toxic masculinity. It has to do with him believing his friend and him being emotionally manipulated. Which, again, that's not tied to masculinity. Women do it all the fucking time. So don't give me this shit. His potential to control life and death. And he was driven away from the Jedi and the light side by their purposeful lack of emotional support. Again, they're completely emotional supportive of Anakin. They want Anakin to do better, but guess what? He chose the easy route. Remember when, you know, they talked about this in the original trilogy, and it's like, no, Luke, don't take the easy path like Vader did. Anakin took the easier path, which was instead of, you know, listening to Master Yoda, listening to Obi-Wan, heck, listening to Mace, and, you know, going and meditating and coming to terms with one's emotions and accepting loss, which aren't toxic masculine things. That's a pretty universal thing that they teach you in life, not just in Star Wars. But saying that there's a complete purposeful lack of emotional support is fucking bullshit. You didn't watch the damn movies. Anakin was only able to finally defeat the Emperor and the dark side when he broke free from toxic masculinity during the climax of Star Wars Return of the Jedi. No, it had nothing to do with toxic masculinity. You want to say that, oh, okay, again, if you switched out the Emperor, if you switched out Emperor Palpatine and made it Empress Palpatine, nothing would really be different. If you actually look at Palpatine's entire life and entire career, that character could easily be a woman. There's nothing defining about Palpatine's character that would make it, you know, fundamentally, you know, he has to be a man. It could have easily been a woman. But they didn't. They chose to go with the Emperor. Then that's George Lucas's decision. I don't think he did anything wrong by it. I think, you know, I think it works great. But just saying, if you actually look at Emperor Palpatine, not talking about the EU, just completely based on the originals and the prequels, Disney sequel fanfic trilogy does not exist. If you just look at them and just look at everything about Palpatine, could easily be a woman. That had nothing to do with toxic masculinity, with Anakin breaking free from toxic masculinity. What it had to do with was Anakin realizing that he had been emotionally manipulated his entire fucking life, basically, by this person, and it had to do with him, which, I mean, you could already see what was going to happen in Empire Strikes Back if you actually watched the movie. When Darth Vader, Anakin, is talking to Luke, and he says, "No, Luke, join me, and together we can rule the galaxy as father and son." Heck, even in Revenge of the Sith, when Anakin is talking to Padme, and he says, you know, "I can overthrow the Emperor," he's willing to, you know, just throw aside, you know, that father figure that had been in his life, that person. But after Padme died, and he thought that he lost his wife and his child, and that everyone he loved turned on him, who's the only person left? Oh yeah, that's right, it's Palpatine. And then when he finds out that Luke is still alive, or, you know, his kids survived, what's he willing to do? Oh yeah, throw away Palpatine so that way he could be with his son. Anakin's entire life has revolved around his family and the people that he really cares about. And, you know, just being free because he was born into slavery. How on earth does any of that have to do with him breaking free of toxic masculinity? If anything, it has him breaking free of toxic relationships. That's really what this article needed to be about, but it was written by somebody that doesn't understand Star Wars. And that's just what it is. Instead of pushing down his feelings, the Jedi taught him. The Jedi did not teach him that. The Jedi taught him to... Again, if you watch Star Wars, you have to come to terms with your emotion, and you have to be able to overcome it. That's not a negative thing. That's not a toxic masculine thing. That's something that everyone in life has to do in real fucking life. But oh my god, apparently this concept is lost on people. He saved Luke based on an attachment grown out of parental instincts and familial love. No, he saved Luke because Luke was his son. He saved Luke because Anakin's entire life has revolved around his family. He wanted to save his mother, Padme, the love of his life, his wife. He wanted to rule the galaxy with her. He wanted to be free to be with the ones that he loved. Come on. Anakin killed the Emperor and saved Luke's life, giving into his feeling of love and attachment. When he finally allowed himself to feel, Anakin has been feeling. And when did Anakin ever stop feeling? Everything Anakin does is based on what he feels. What on earth? He overcame the toxic masculinity that plagued him all his life. No, that's not what it was. It had nothing to do with toxic masculinity. This is one of the most insanely sexist and ignorant articles I have ever read. If he had been allowed earlier to feel his emotions and not fear them, what does fear, Lou? Fear leads to the dark side. They were trying to teach him not to fear from the first fucking movie and the prequels. You didn't watch the fucking movie, or you're just that much of a daft idiot that you didn't go back to watch them, or you didn't, put your phone down to watch them, and you wrote this half-assed article that was just meant to piss people off, which obviously it successfully did. Anakin might have never fallen to the dark side. You don't know shit about Star Wars. You don't understand Star Wars. Margaret, you should not be writing about Star Wars. But, everyone, let me know what you think about this bullshit in the comments below, because this is just completely outrageous. And it's one of my pet peeves when people are like, oh, well, this is what it's about, when they clearly don't know shit about it. It's like, it's fine if you don't like Star Wars. That's completely fine. I mean, plenty of people are in this world that don't like Star Wars. It's not a big deal. But, I mean, if you don't like it and you don't understand it and you don't even want to take the time to watch the movie, why the fuck are you writing about it? It blows my mind, but, I mean, this is the world we live in. So, everyone, I apologize for the length of this video. I just had to get that out. This is ridiculous. And, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, that's okay, dude. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, everyone, I hope you have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And may the Force be with you, because we are really going to need it. Bye, everyone. What's up, everyone? It's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and I have an Etsy store, so if you've ever wanted to own a print of my artwork, this is the place to go. As you can see, I have a lot of recognizable characters, from horror films to heroes to Star Wars characters. Some of the notable characters I have on here are Darth Vader, which I did a couple live streams painting, so you can own a print of this painting. I also have Luke Skywalker, the binary sunset version, one of my favorite scenes in the original New Hope movie. I have Darth Maul, which Ray Parks himself actually complimented me on Instagram. And then last but certainly not least, Ahsoka Tano. So if you want to own any of these prints, go right on over to my Etsy store. Again, that's The Art of Anna, That Star Wars Girl, or TSWG for short. Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.